Hey, this is ASpengler coming to show you guys another tutorial video. This week it is a tree and bush tutorial, so with that, let's get right into it. Some things that you'll need for this are the leaves, obviously, and then some form of trunk. This one is a little bit more detailed. You could just use a more basic one like this. And then that's for the larger trees, and then for the smaller trees you could use just the 1x1 round brick. This is a 2x2 round brick, and this could also vary with like a dark brown. So that's that for the main part. If you want your trees to be a bit more sturdy, you could get some just brown poles, the longer ones I would more recommend, but you could also use I also will use these shorter ones for the smaller trees as well. So with that, as far as like how many trunk pieces or leaves you'd need, that mainly just depends on how big you're planning on having your tree. So with that, let's just go ahead and get building. You want to make sure you have a trunk to start. If you want a taller tree, then I'd recommend having a taller trunk to start. That just gives it a little bit, for that start, it gives it just a little bit more to start off of. And then with that, you kind of just go around with your leaves. Make sure you have them as spread out as you can get them for the first layer. Then you just go ahead and I'm going to actually extend my trunk a little bit more. So with that, you get this in every other leaf layer. You would try to put a trunk piece that gives it its height, and it also holds the leaves in place. And then when you're putting on the next layer, try to stagger it a little bit so it doesn't look completely uniform. So there we go with that. Like these ones stuck out this direction, these ones stuck out that direction. It doesn't make it look like they're all just uniform going up in that one direction, but it kind of gives it a more random feel to it. So now I'm switching, instead of the ends, I'm making the leaves look like they're getting a little bit more tucked in, smaller, because the tree will start to get skinnier as it gets taller. So there you see the first rod ran out. I guess that you don't have to put the rods in. I feel it just makes it stronger in segments. So you just go ahead and put the next one in. Keep going off from where you stopped. Keep staggering the leaves so it doesn't look too uniform, like I said earlier. Keep putting the trunks in between. And once you start getting closer to the top, you can start doing a bit different of things. Try to keep the leaves going in all different random directions. There you saw I only put 3 leaves instead of 4. Let's try to give it a little bit more of a thinner effect at the top. Keep going up, trying to make it thinner, so I'm going to do 3 leaves again. There we go. Go on there. Yep, there it goes. So at this point, I'd start to go to 2 leaves instead of 3. And also at this point, if you have any of the smaller, I think I have some, yep, if I have any of these smaller leaves. Those are good to have because it also gives the thinning effect to it. And we'll probably put one more rod in there because we won't get too much taller than this. At this point, I think I'm just gonna start going just to one. Well, I think one. Also, it's be nice to add in a few of the smaller ones if I can find them. Don't have quite as many of the smaller ones, so use those wisely. Just make it a little thicker here just because we don't want only one leaf thing here. That leads us to the second layer where we could probably just put one down. And then once you start getting to this point, I'd recommend you start using some of these 2x2s, round, just like the slight plate. You start by just putting 2 down, and you could work your way to just 1 at next. And then once you get about this tall, if I have any more of those, yep, there we got one. The smaller pieces, I'd recommend putting those in just to make the top look a little skinnier. Oh, good, I have 2, so makes it look a little bit more uniform. Oh, we're having technical difficulties. With the segmentation of the leaves, the trees tend to break off if they do just in the little segments, so with this you don't have too big breaks, but they are a little bit stable because you can't segment the whole thing completely. So we have that, and then at this point I'd recommend using some of these 1x1 cone pieces. And then you could just put those on top. Now you got your large tree. Okay guys, the large tree is finished. Move that to the side. We're going to start on the small tree. So like with the larger tree, we put down a trunk to start. I'd recommend doing the same with the smaller tree. When you get your segmenting pieces, start right away, put those in. I guess it doesn't completely matter. This one's dark brown. The segment is regular brown. You can't really see the segments in the end, so it's not too big of a deal if you hide it well. So with this, since you don't want to just make a super large base, I'd recommend just putting in like 2 to start. Maybe if you have some of the smaller leaves, you could put a few of those down there, but with this you could just start off with 2 and going from there just to 1. You could do 2 again if you really want to, but then with this, these go a lot quicker. You kind of just segment it one after the other. With a leaf, try to keep the leaves twisting in different directions so it's not too uniform. And then with that, we got another pole to put down. Put a leaf in first. As we get closer to the top, it's always good to have the smaller bits there, but the smaller leaves, but I don't have any left, I don't think. No, so don't have any left. We'll just continue on with these. And with that, once you get to about that height, I'd recommend just stopping because it would look kind of weird if you kept having it about the same height going all the way up. So you got about this much left, just enough that your 2 green cones could cover it up. And then you got your small tree. So in the mock, my Castle mock, I have an example of using just those, using more of the smaller leaves. Those do look a little bit better in my opinion, but they are a little bit more expensive just because these little leaves get more expensive. So if you want to go for more of a better look, I guess you could buy more of the smaller leaves to make your smaller trees and makes those look a little bit better. But otherwise you could just, it does work to just use the regular large leaf, especially in the situations when you're making the darker green leaf trees, since they don't have any of the smaller leaf dark green leaves. It's a good technique just to use for the small pine tree. Again, these are pine trees, I forgot to mention that earlier. So those are the large tree, small tree, and now to the bush. These tend to be pretty basic. Again, you have your trunk, your stem, and you just go ahead and stack them depending on how big you want your bush to be. You don't really have to put spacers in for these, and then you kind of just scatter it on. Bushes are kind of more just random depending on what kind of bush you want. I recommend at least 4 leaf pieces, and then you kind of just put them on like that. So there's a bush. Pretty simple. So main thing is just make sure you have a good stump piece or stem piece for the bush to rest on, and then something to hold all the leaves together, which would be just like a reddish brown rod piece. And then just, I'd recommend 4 is a really good number for leaves. So there's that. Bushes aren't too complicated and come in decent variety. So with that, that's it. All I have for this segment. So thank you guys for watching. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, subscribe. And with that, thank you guys for watching. And as far as upcoming stuff, look, you can watch weekly episodes of Building Castle and Lego. Those come out on Sundays, and tutorial videos and other videos not relating to the Castle will be coming out on Wednesdays like this one. So with that, thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.